You think you can control me forever and never pay the price? I stared into his bloodshot eyes, the evidence I'd prepared long ago clenched tightly in my hand. His lips twisted into a cold, mocking smile, as if all this were some kind of trivial game. "You'll never leave me," he said flatly. "You'll do whatever I say." 8 years of humiliation, oppression, and threats surged through me all at once. Every message, every insult, every moment when I'd been cornered to the edge of despair, each flashed through my mind like a blade glinting in the dark. He thought I was just a victim. He had no idea I'd already been laying my plans in secret. Every insignificant detail would become the evidence of his eventual downfall. I met Aaron when I was 19. My mother had just passed away, and I felt hollow inside. He was a regular at the restaurant where I worked part-time, always sitting by the window, always ordering a black coffee with no sugar. That winter was especially cold. The first time he spoke to me was when he noticed my hands were red from the chill. "You should wear gloves," he said gently. "I can buy you a pair." Back then, I had no defense against that kind of kindness. The year I moved into his house, it became my only refuge. But soon that refuge turned into a prison. Every morning, he'd wake up first, checking my phone, my messages, my social media, my browser history, muttering, "Who are you talking to again? Why are you messaging him?" Whenever I tried to explain, he'd slam the door or grab my phone and smash it against the wall. The cracks that spread across the plaster looked just like the fractures in my heart. He controlled every part of my social life. Work gatherings, casual dinners with friends, even simple weekend outings had to be approved by him. Once, I arranged to study with some classmates at a cafe. The moment I stepped outside, he called, screaming through the phone, "You dare to go out? You're betraying me." I stood under the rain, my hair soaked, while his voice cut into me like a knife. "I'm just going to study," I said quietly. "Not to meet anyone." "I don't care," he roared. "You should stay home and wait for me." It wasn't just verbal abuse. He used his body as a weapon too. Once, when I was about to go buy groceries, he stormed into the kitchen, shoved me aside, and yelled, "You think you have freedom? I won't let you go out alone. You could meet someone, get hurt, make me worry. I won't wait until something happens to you." Every fight ended the same way, with him blaming me. "This is all your fault. If you'd just listened, none of this would happen." I'd clean up the shattered dishes through my tears, swallowing my humiliation. For 8 years, his control and deceit invaded every corner of my life. Before every social event, he'd inspect my clothes. If I dressed casually, he'd sneer, "Trying to get attention, aren't you?" Meanwhile, he freely flirted with women online and in person, laughing with them in ways that mocked my restraint. The cruelest memory came the night I planned to see a movie with an old friend. At midnight, his message appeared on my phone. "You filthy whore. You belong under my feet." When I got home, he slammed the door in my face. The impact split my lip, my nose bled. He left the next morning for a trip while I lay on the sofa all night, trembling alone in the dark. I tried to resist. I tried talking, negotiating, staying calm, even secretly recording. But each time, he twisted everything. He'd flip the story, painting me as hysterical and unreasonable. His words became a maze. I started doubting myself, my memory, my sanity. There was no escape, no voice, no freedom. But I wasn't completely broken. In secret, I started gathering evidence. I recorded every argument, every threat, every insult. Each time he cornered me, screamed at me, shattered something precious, I took note, his tone, his words, his movements. The more violent he became, the more precise I grew. In silence, I was building my way out. You think you can control me forever? I whispered to myself one night. I organized everything: recordings, screenshots, messages, contacts of friends I could trust. That evening, when he came home, he found me sitting calmly on the sofa, staring at him. His confident smirk faltered. "What are you doing?" he demanded. I pressed play. "Listen to your 8 years of tenderness." His voice filled the room, sharp and cruel. "Who are you texting again?" "You're just a worthless slut who'll always betray me." Each word echoed back at him, precise and undeniable. His face flushed red, then pale. His hand trembled as he reached for my phone. I didn't move. I just stared, cold, steady, unflinching. Step 1. I compiled every piece of evidence, recordings, text messages, chat logs, into a single report and sent it to his boss and several mutual friends. Step 2. I contacted a lawyer, filed documentation of his harassment, threats, and property destruction, and officially recorded the evidence chain. He called me, his voice shaking with rage and panic. "What the hell are you doing? Are you insane?" I replied evenly, "It's called self-defense. Your actions have consequences." Within days, he received formal inquiries from his workplace. Colleagues began avoiding him. Even his closest allies distanced themselves. I didn't speak publicly, didn't defend myself. I just watched from the shadows as his composure cracked, piece by piece. Step 3. I anonymously released fragments of evidence on social media. His charming facade collapsed overnight. Women who'd known him reached out to me, some in anger, some in disbelief, some quietly confirming their own similar experiences. His social life disintegrated. Every time he tried to confront me, I met him with silence. No amount of explaining could bury the truth anymore. The moment of his true collapse came when I handed him a court summons. "You controlled me for 8 years," I said, my voice steady. "Now you'll face the law." He stared at the paper, his hands shaking, his face drained of color. You wouldn't." "I can explain." "It's too late," I interrupted calmly. "Control and abuse come with a price. Starting today, you'll pay it." He bombarded me with calls and messages, pleading, threatening, begging. But I'd already changed my number, moved to a safe place, erased every trace of him from my world. The past 8 years were now neatly documented, each incident lined up like a trail of truth. Every tremor in his voice, every desperate outburst, became another quiet footnote in my revenge. When it was finally over, I stood on the balcony, breathing in air that felt clean for the first time in years. No messages, no shouting, no presence of him anywhere. My life, at last, belonged to me again. Friends came over. Laughter, coffee, warmth, sounds that had been missing for so long filled the room. Those 8 years of pain hadn't been wasted. They had become the source of my strength. I didn't celebrate. I simply packed my things and left the rest behind. The chains of those years had been shattered by law, by evidence, by calm precision. He trembled before me, crumbled before his colleagues, while I stood still,